It's your boy Webby. Stay Webby TV back at y'all with another one. Let's get it, man. So the fight with Errol the True Spence Jr. and Sebastian Fundora. This fight is officially called off. People are saying that this fight is called off because the WBO and the W whatever, they're not allowing this fight to be for the title, right? The whole point of this fight was Errol Spence wanted to get the title from Sebastian Fundora so he can have a rematch with Terrence Bud Crawford at 154. And because Errol Spence has been inactive for so long, and because he's never fought at 154, they're not allowing Errol Spence to fight for the belt. Also, Errol Spence also doesn't have a trainer yet. He hasn't announced who his new trainer is. And listen, this fight was supposed to happen last October. We're now in January. We're close to February of 2025. And Sebastian Fundora wants to move on. He feels like this negotiation with Errol Spence has held up his career. And I respect that. You know, Sebastian Fundora, he's like, look, man, I've given you enough time. You know, remember, Sebastian Fundora's manager said that this fight was done months ago, and Sebastian Fundora ignored his manager, and he still wanted to continue to get this fight. But Errol Spence, he's obviously not ready to get back in that ring. He even said on Twitter he'll be back when he's ready, right? So listen, man, Errol Spence. I'm a fan of Errol Spence, and I'm disappointed because Errol Spence is not letting his fans know what's going on. We have no idea what's going on. You still have not announced your trainer. You've been out of the ring for over a year. We're getting close to a year and 6 months now, Errol, since you've last fought, right? I've seen you do interviews saying that you only have 1 or 2 fights left. You understand what I'm saying? And one positive thing I can say is Errol Spence is in shape. I've been seeing videos of Errol Spence in the gym working with Frank Martin. He's been training. You know, he's in shape, right? He's preparing to get back in that boxing ring, but it's just taking too long, right? I know you had surgery on your eye again. I'm pretty sure that's healed up by now. But Errol Spence said on Twitter that he wants to make sure that he gives his fans the best version of himself. He said there's a lot of boxers that when they're out of the ring, as long as he's been, you know, they do steroids, and you know, by the time they come back, they're able to fight and the steroids don't pop up in the drug test. And he said Errol Spence basically said he could be doing that, kind of like what Ryan Garcia did to Devin Haney, but he's not doing that, right? He's doing things the right way. And I respect that, Errol. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, we want to see you get back in that motherfucking ring, bro. And listen, I already have Errol Spence's next fight. Errol, I know you said in the past that you would never fight this guy because when this guy was the man at 147 and when he had the belt, right, he straight up chose to not fight you, right? All of a sudden, he fought Manny Pacquiao, and after that, the man had like 3, 4, 5 injuries back to back, and he basically held the belts up to the point where he had to drop the belts. And you ended up taking that belt, and you don't respect this guy. But Errol, your next fight has to be against Keith one-time Thurman. It makes sense. Both of you guys are on PBC. Both of you guys have been inactive, right? Keith Thurman was supposed to fight last year against Tim Tszyu, right? After Tim Tszyu, remember, Tim Tszyu was supposed to defend that title against Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman got injured for the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's why he fought Sebastian Fundora, right? Tim Tszyu got busted open with a headbutt, and before that headbutt, Tim Tszyu was dominating the fight. Even when he couldn't see and the blood was in his eyes, he still was having some success. But the judges felt like Sebastian Fundora did enough to win the fight. So Tim Tszyu lost the belt. Tim Tszyu even lost his last fight. He fought somebody else after Fundora. He lost again, right? He actually got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So, Errol, you and Keith Thurman, you guys have history. You guys have beef, right? Say what you want about Keith Thurman. His only loss is to Manny Pacquiao. He had a legendary run at 147. He beat Danny Garcia. Then he beat Sean Porter. You understand what I'm saying? He had a close fight with Manny Pacquiao. He only lost by split decision, right? He got dropped by Manny Pacquiao. But after that, Keith Thurman was doing his thing, man. It was a close fight between Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao. And we always wanted to see Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. So now that Keith Thurman is at 154, let's get Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Because, listen, Errol Spence, I know Errol Spence likes to say he doesn't take tune-ups, right? I understand that. But at this point in Errol Spence's career, that is stupid. Errol Spence, you're 34, right? You took a lot of damage when you flipped out of that Ferrari, right? And I'll give you respect, Errol, as a fan, right? Your first fight back after you almost died when you flew out the Ferrari when you were drinking and driving, you came back and beat Danny Garcia, right? I respect that. You understand what I'm saying? But, Errol, you're 34. You took a beating from Terrence Crawford, right? And you've been out the ring for a long time since you've taken that beating. And you had surgery on your eye, right? You fighting Keith Thurman, fans are going to be excited to see that fight. Why? Because you guys already have the previous beef. And Keith Thurman is an extremely amazing shit talker. He's entertaining. He knows how to sell a fight. Keith Thurman has a good pay-per-view history. And we all know, say what you want about Keith Thurman, but he can box his ass off, right? Keith Thurman can box his ass off, man. You got to give credit when it's due. You understand what I'm saying? Keith Thurman beat Mario Barrios. You know, the champion at 147 right now. Keith Thurman made easy work of Mario Barrios. You know what I'm saying? And that was after Keith Thurman was out the ring for about 2 years, right? So let's get it popping, Errol Spence. I mean, who else are you going to fight? You're not going to fight Bud. Now, who else are you going to fight, bro? I think this fight makes the most sense. The only thing is, bruh, Keith Thurman has been out the ring for 2 years again, man. You understand what I'm saying? When he fought Mario Barrios, that was February 5th, 2022. So that's what I think needs to happen next. I think this would be a great fight. I would obviously pick Errol Spence to win this fight because he's been more active. But let's get it, man. Errol the True Spence Jr. versus Keith One-Time Thurman. Let me know what you guys think about this. It's your boy Wavy. I'm out.